Good morning, everybody. We had a great meeting on Monday, and we're reading the book that Father Jack gave out, The Speed of Joy. I think that's what it's called. I know it's our goal to slow down to the speed of joy. And in chapter 1, we read about busyness and the war with busyness and the war with ourselves. And our closing question for the week was, how do we slow down to the speed of joy? What busyness do we need to get rid of? Is it something physical? Is it something in our minds? Is it a schedule thing, or is it just sort of our personal orientation? And so I wanted to share a couple things about that personal orientation. You can see the screen on my eyes. Is that Pope Elizabeth, or Libby Moix, as we call her sometimes, she shared with us how the 4 temperaments are so helpful to know about yourself and so helpful to know about the other people around you. And I think it's a good way to getting to know ourselves. I've just been thinking all week about getting to know ourselves, becoming the most authentic version of ourselves. When we're growing up, we think, what do we want to be when we grow up? Well, I think what we're supposed to want to be when we grow up is just us. Doing our best, living our best life, being the most like Jesus that we can be. But I posted it in the group me if you would like to look at the 4 temperaments and get to know yourself a little bit better and love yourself a little bit better, and maybe learn a little bit more about interacting with the other people in your life. So even though this has nothing to do with the book, maybe sometimes we can have more peace when we feel more comfortable in our skin and learn to love ourselves as we are. Because sometimes that's just the way we are. We always are going to have things we need to improve on. We never need to be perfect. God went out of his way, so far out of his way, to show us that we don't need to be perfect in life. And we're not going to be perfect at not being busy. But, Martha and Mary finding that balance between sitting at the feet of Jesus and still having things to do, and not criticizing other people when they're not in the same place that we are. The other thing that we talked about was the love languages. So there's a book called The 5 Love Languages, and you don't really have to read the book to get this out of it, but it has words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, physical touch, and gift giving. And these, you probably have 1 or 2 primary gifts, and we talked about how when you're in a relationship, it's important to know what their what their love language is, and to communicate with someone in their love language. We're kind of disconnected sometimes. If you're an acts of service person and somebody keeps encouraging you, you might say, stop giving me compliments and jump in here and help me, But something that I brought up, that it's a new concept in my life, and I didn't know until I did a little bit of research to be able to post this video for you, was hurt languages. Whoa. So the way that I first heard about this was a video where someone said, your primary love languages in life may be what you deny yourself when you're in a toxic mode. So if you are a words of affirmation person and that makes me feel more love than anything, you might criticize yourself when you're feeling bad. If you're an acts of service person, you might not ask for help or think you deserve help, or be too proud for help, or maybe it's a shameful thing when you're hurting. If you like quality time, you might isolate yourself. If you like physical touch, you may avoid physical touch, intimacy, self-care. And then gift giving, if that's your primary love language, you may just give to others and suffer lack yourself, or overcompensate, or use it like as a form of medication for yourself. So, these are things to think about. What are we operating out of from our childhood? What do we need to work on? What do we need to be healed from? What are the motivations behind the ways that we hurt ourselves? Where do they come from? And so often when we suffer abuse as young people in any form, we just do that same abuse to ourselves throughout lives, or until we see a better way. So they called it hurt language. I just wanted to throw that out there because we said we wanted to hear a little bit more about it. We're praying for you this week. We hope you have a fantastic week, and hope to see you. We will meet next Monday after Mass for the Immaculate Conception. So love you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.